And we are live. Hello, everyone. We are so glad you could join us. And just from the jump, I want you guys to know Miss Leona and I both have a set of notes because we have so much to get through. So if you see us looking down, we're checking our notes. But tonight, we are talking about modern homemaking for women who are doing a lot. And I know that covers a whole lot of you. But
Mhm.
working, raising kids, managing schedules, and still trying to keep a home running. Our guest tonight is a work from home mom, and she has 4 children, a handsome young husband, and like most women, she's trying to figure out systems that work for her.
Mhm.
We also have an HR expert that's going to be joining us in just a minute, and she's going to let us know what employers expect from remote workers because sometimes some people get it twisted, or some people don't understand why you're not necessarily available. So, Leona, before we jump in, what was your life like when you were a young mom? And yes, people, we were young moms at one time.
Yes, I know. You look at us now and think, oh my goodness, they couldn't have been. But yes, we were.
Yes, we were.
Yes, we were. Miss Denise, you might want to switch the screen to where it's two of us
Oh,
even.
that's right.
And we are tonight doing something just a little bit different. So if you see that we're kind of figuring out those screens, you'll figure out why in a little bit. But the thing of it is that as a young mom, and particularly a working young mom, I was working before we even married. And then once the kids came along, it was overwhelming. Whoops. I went back to work as soon as my 4 weeks was over and the doctor released me. I was back to work.
Mhm.
And at that particular point, I had to go to school. I was finishing up my master's degree, and so it was a matter of work, children, husband, and school. And navigating that was tough. Tough. It was bad enough being a new wife, but then to have to navigate all of those other areas at the
Mhm.
same time,
Mhm.
there were days when literally I came home, plopped in a chair, and just cried. And
Oh,
oh, yeah, just couldn't take it another minute.
I believe
And
it.
the hubby at first wasn't traveling, but then his job, as he was promoted, he ended up with a job where he had to travel. So he was gone anywhere from 4 to 5 days a week, and would come home Friday night. He would leave Sunday afternoon. So that would be our window of being able to really see each other. It was devastating. But, let me tell you, once you figure out a routine, a
Yes.
system of how to get everybody on board, including babies, that you're able to really work it. Now, will you do it fast? No.
No.
Take trial and error. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days. Even after you get a system, you're going to have a moment. But, I'm thankful for the fact that I had people around me who gave me great advice. And that's one thing, too. You have to be willing to listen.
Yes.
Yes, because and be able to discern between those who are really giving you solid advice
Mhm.
from those who are just yakking,
Yes.
and there's a difference. So
Okay.
we're thankful. Yeah.
Thankful that we got through. Well, let me just share a little bit about my early days. So I worked from home for, not work from home, I stayed at home for
Mhm.
a couple of years when the babies were little. And I say babies because I had twins. And so I was home with them until they were probably a couple of years old. And then, plus, I was a senior in college, had
Mhm.
these twins, and then worked part time. So once I finished school, I stayed at home with them until they were old enough that I could comfortably send them to like a babysitter, like daycare. But in those days, we just called it a babysitter.
Mhm.
And depending upon what season it was, basketball season or track season, my husband got home late, which
Mm.
meant that once the kids were older and they were into school and during after school activities and all of that kind of thing, I was pretty much responsible for homework and dinner and all that kind of stuff. So if he didn't get in until say 6 or 6:30, I needed to have the meal done and the kids on their homework and the baby, getting them into the bath and that kind of thing. So I was completely overwhelmed,
Mhm.
especially with the twins. I was completely overwhelmed. My house was a mess. I had no routine, and I mean none, no routine at all to kind of help me sort things out. And I always felt like I was running behind.
Mhm.
Always felt like I was running behind. Now, luckily, we do grow and we do learn.
Thank
I have learned
goodness.
some things since then. Thank you, Jesus. I have learned some
Yes.
things since then. But when you're going through it and when you're working through the midst, it is very
Mhm.
difficult. So if anybody out there can relate to our story, please let us know in the chat. We'd be interested to know.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring our HR expert on, and her name is Jill. And Jill, you're muted, so you might want to unmute. So
Good
this is
evening.
our expert. This is Jill Green, and she is the Chief HR Officer or Chief People Officer and Senior Vice President for a global company. She's also my daughter, and she was willing to take some time out to chat with us today about people who are working remotely. So, Jill, was anything you wanted to share before we bring Nina on?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Miss Leona and Mom, thank you very much for having me. I think it is an honor to be invited. I am a fan of the show.
Oh,
I
yeah.
watch the show. I dial in for the recipes and the great ideas because I'm a mom. I'm a working mom and a busy mom, and I understand the challenges of balancing career and domestic engineering.
Mhm.
It's actually been a struggle for me, to be honest. But the world has changed since 2020 when COVID hit. Everything radically changed, and especially the way that we did our work.
Mhm.
Before, we were used to doing the traditional work in the office setting. And
Mhm.
then because of COVID, we moved work to the home office, and
Mhm.
the whole country had to build a new muscle. And
Yeah.
so most people don't really know how to work from home or work from home effectively. And because of that, people don't know how to treat us when we work from home.
Okay.
So it is a delicate balance, one that you have to set parameters for and guidance, and you have to have systems and communication. And it's a conversation I'm very excited about. As the chief HR officer for a large company, it's something we talk about a lot. We're now in a hybrid environment where our employees are in the office 3 days a week.
Mm.
But even though some are, home officing 2 days a week, it's still a challenge. And
Mhm.
so I'm excited about having the dialogue with Miss Nina and helping her navigate working from home.
Okay, there you go. So, everyone, here is Nina. And Nina is a young mom. Well, I've already indicated she's got 4 children, young husband, and she works from home. So, Nina, tell us a little bit about your story.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me. I'm so excited, a little nervous, but I'm so glad to
Super
be on.
easy.
But yeah, I'm mother of four. My oldest is 23, so parenting my
Mhm.
oldest is a little different. I'm more of a listening ear now versus actual parenting.
Mhm.
But I have three boys. My boys are in every sport, every activity. Um, and I work from home full time,
Mhm.
and I do content creating. So I'm so busy. I literally schedule every minute of the day doing something. That's versus working, being a mom, being a wife. So I'm cooking, doing the laundry, doing everything.
Mhm.
Okay. So, what made you realize that maybe just winging it wasn't necessarily working best for you?
Cause I was feeling crazy. I was feeling crazy. Like it was okay, you know, I'm working this said day. Okay, when I get off, I gotta go do practice. I'm not thinking about what we're gonna eat. Let me just grab some fast food. Let me just do this. Oh, I throw some laundry on. Forget I wash clothes. Go do something else. Then the next morning, because the clothes smelling sour, I'm like, I have to wash these clothes again. I was forgetting so much, so I was creating double work for myself, not planning properly.
Mhm.
And I was like, I'm working double hole. I have to stop doing this. And that's what made me start creating routines for myself and my family.
Ah,
Mm.
Yona, there's that word, routine.
Yes, yes.
So what feels hardest for you to manage right now? What feels hardest for you?
Time.
Okay.
Okay.
Managing my time.
That makes sense. That
Mhm.
makes sense because you do have quite a full day. And Jill, let us know, when our work from home moms are trying to navigate the
Yeah.
day and they're focused on work and yet they've got everything else. Everybody's around, you got to get people here, there, and there.
Yeah.
What do businesses expect? Do they, I'm assuming they expect you to be at that computer most of the day.
Oh yeah. They expect you to be available for sure.
Mhm.
Right. If it's a work day, even if you're at home, you're expected to be available from 8 to 5 or whatever your working hours are.
Mhm.
But there are two things that I emphasize with my team and with my mentees is your prep game and your D game. So prep game is prepping the day before, prepping the week before, prepping the month before. You always got to prep yourself, right? So when we have a busy family where you're prepping the meals for the kids the night before, you're prepping to make sure they're anything you can prepare that will not create stress for the next day, do it. Lay out their clothes, right? All those things, right? Even for yourself, even if you're working from home, you still prepare the night before what you're going to wear.
Oh,
Mhm.
wait. I'm working from home. Why does what I'm wearing make a difference?
Because it sets the atmosphere for your mentality. It increases your productivity, right? So you don't work in sweats all day. Now, somebody's going to send me a dirty email. Somebody's going to slash my tires. Oh, that's why we can work from home. So we can work in our pajamas. No. When I
No.
work from home, I look like this.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
get up, I put my face on, I look like this. Now, right? I mean, because it sets the tone for the day. So that your prep game is very important, not just for you, but the people that you're responsible for. And so the days, Nina, that I do not pick out my clothes the night before, my whole day is off.
Really?
Down to my socks. If I don't put out my trouser socks and I gotta look for them in the morning, down to my jewelry, my day is off. Down to the audible book I'm going to listen to in the morning.
Mhm.
Wow.
Right. My prep game has got to be on point. And then my D game, which is direct your day game. You got to direct your day. It's just like your money, right? You budget your money. You make sure those dollars have a home. You know where they're going. We don't lose our money, right? We
Mhm.
know where those dollars are. I can tell you I
Mhm.
spent how much money I spent on Starbucks today. Too much. Too much. Too much. Right? But I can tell you where those dollars gone. But can I tell you where my time went? My time is
Mhm.
as important as my money. So you have to direct your day, right? So for my day, when I get up, my golden moments between 5:30 and 6 o'clock, I'm listening to my audiobook. I'm making sure I hear something from the Lord. That's one of my scriptures, right? I have something happening to feed my mind and my spirit between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. I'm directing my day. Right?
Mhm.
Down to if you're a content creator, right? I mean, I think that's a whole separate show by itself, to be honest. But so I'll
Yeah.
stop right here. I'll just say the two things that I was listening for when I heard you talking was your prep game, and it may be on point already. And then directing your day. I'll pause.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
great.
let me ask you something else then, Leona, since you brought this up. So, one of the things that I know when Nina and I talked a little bit when we jumped on just to kind of check tech is that sometimes people expect her to be always available because she's home.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh,
And then you want to talk about that a little bit and then we can see if Jill has an answer for that.
Yes.
absolutely.
Down to my friends. Hey girl, what you doing? Working.
Mhm.
Come meet us here. Oh, I'm gonna come up. No, I'm working.
Mhm.
My kids calling me from school. Mama, can you bring me something to eat? No, I'm working. my husband, hey, can you do? No, I am working. It's like people don't understand it. Just because I'm at home, I'm really not at home. I'm working.
Mhm.
I know I cannot wash 50 loads of clothes and dry them and put them up during my working hours. I am working. So I had to get to a point where a lot of times to where I just don't even, I'm like, don't even look at my phone. I have it away so I can work, so people know, like, don't text me or you're going to get a response later, sometimes days, because I'm doing so much other stuff once I get out of work.
Mhm.
And I want to jump in on that too, Nina. I had another client who talked about that very same thing. Now, they didn't have any children. It was just her and her guy. But she said that he expected her to do all, and she worked from home as well. And he expected her to do all the things at home that she would do if she was not working. And if she would ask him, like, babe, could you do blah, 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 blah? Oh, well, can't you just slide that in on your break? So,
Yeah.
do you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
Well,
That was my husband too.
yeah. It's hard. And I say this only because I remember when COVID hit, and to be honest with you, my son, his wife, daughter, her husband, all had to come home. And three of them are still working from home. And it took me a minute to be able to understand that concept of working from home, because occasionally they would text me, but then if I text them back, I might not hear from them for 24 hours. And then I was a little upset because I'm thinking, wait a minute. And so, it took a while to realize the fact. One day I was running something over to my daughter's house, and I was upset because she didn't come to the door to get it, and after she asked for it. And so I sent her a scathing note. And so she said, she finally came to the door with her little headphones on and the works, and she went, I'm working.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay. That was it. At that point, you understand. But I know many people really don't realize the parameters that you have to stay within for businesses in order to continue to keep your job and to try to separate the job from what you do at home.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're working for a tradition, right? If you are clocking in and clocking out for an employer, it's definitely a lot more rigid, right? But one thing, if you work for yourself, you really should have some of the same disciplines as if you work for an employer. And a lot of times, so one, Miss Leona, we're learning the new muscle to work from home. It's something new. Everyone doesn't understand it. So if I see you, why aren't you available? I'm looking right at you, right? And so it's not a bad thing, but we have to train people and teach people the boundaries that we have around our jobs. And we train them when we answer their texts and we respond or not responding. We train them, right? And so communication first is the key to say, hey, everybody, I'm unavailable between 8 and 4. These are my working hours, whether I'm creating content, whether I'm writing in my diary, or I'm clocking in, whatever I'm doing that I call work, right? We have to put those boundaries around those time frames and then honor it. We have to honor it. Now, we can't say we're working 8 to 4 and then he walk in and we sleep. We taking a nap, or we watching Atlanta Housewives or whatever, right? I'm just right. And so that's real. That's real, because that's what happens, right? We multitask. We run out and we go to Target real quick and we do all these things, but then we tell people, well, don't bother me, I'm working. Well, I just saw you at the right. So we have to honor the boundaries for ourselves and teach other people to do the same.
That's true. And that's true. And I had to learn that, very early in COVID they're working, don't call between such and such and such and such. So, it happens. And, but it is, your family may accept it faster than your friends, and that may be the most difficult part, trying to explain to friends. Do you often turn your phone, turn it off so that you're not receiving phone calls during that time period? I know that seems to have been a good technique. Just, shut it down. where you don't have to hear it and they can leave a message.
Yeah.
And you catch up on it later, but it works.
Yeah.
But it is difficult when you're not, because I know we have you have listeners who have traditional 9-to-5 jobs. They clock in where they work from home, and then you have some self-employed right, folks who work from home, and those are still both equally as important. But a lot of times we don't make people honor and respect our self-employed models of working from home, right? And they do think, oh, you're just doing that little hobby. No, this is my business also.
Exactly.
But it's the way that we honor our own time in our business. If we treat it like a business and we say, right, and we just keep the boundaries, hey girl, listen, I would love to catch up with you. Moving forward, call me after 4:00.
Right.
That's what you would do if you was on that 9-to-5 clocking in somebody else. I'd say, hey girl, I gotta call you after 4:00, right? So
Okay. So Jill, I like that. So I'd love to catch up, but call me after 4:00 or whatever. And I liked what Leona said too about I forgot just that quick what it was. Something about time blocking on your phone. But Nina was talking about time blocking as well. And Jill had mentioned that between 5:30 and 6:00, that's her quiet time. So she's always already blocked out that time for herself. So Nina, when you talk about time blocking, let us know how that has worked for you so far. And then we'll see if we have any suggestions we can offer.
Sure. So that was one of the things that I'm trying to implement this year.
okay.
And what I started doing, and I started around Christmas. If I try to get up before the kids, so that's my alone time, my personal time, and dedicate that one said hour for my personal time. And after that 1 hour, if I have to get what all I can get done in that 1 hour, and then move on to my next hour. So if that is, let me get up, let me make breakfast, let me figure out what we're gonna do today, some fun with the kids, or for the next day, like my prepping. That's what I had started doing, and that's been working. It's been working okay. I just have to stick to it.
So may I ask a question?
Sure.
So you're small. So how are your children? How old are your children?
23, 11, 8, and 3.
Okay, so school age.
Yes.
11 and 8 are at school during the day. And then the 3-year-old is at home?
At school.
At school too. Okay. All right. So during the day it's just you.
Yes, working.
Okay, great. All right. So I think the time blocking is excellent. I'm glad that you are considering that. But to your point, it's honoring the commitment to yourself to stick to it. I'm using those words because as women, a lot of times we honor the time for our children. We honor the commitments to our spouses, but we don't honor the commitments to ourselves.
Right.
That's
right.
true.
Well, we got to honor the commitment to ourselves, which is that time blocking and that calendar. Right. So instead of saying, oh, I'm gonna figure out what we're doing today, that's part of your prep game. Prep game says we're doing these 2 activities on Tuesday and Wednesday with the kids when they get home or whatever. Right. So the prep game is so important. That'll help you direct your day. And that would take off so much stress. I'm telling you, the times I don't do it, Miss Leona, oh my goodness. And of course, my children are out of the house now. They're in college or they're home over the break, but they're in school. But I still have to do that even with this husband of mine.
No,
that's a different show.
That's a whole that's a whole different subject.
Let me just bring people in who have just joined us. In case you've just joined us, we have with us I can't talk today. In case you have just joined us, you are on an episode of the Modern Home Economist, and tonight we're talking with Nina, and she is a work from home mom with a busy family, and we're talking about building systems that actually support real life. With us, we also have Jill Green, who is an HR expert for a large global company, and she is sharing some expertise with all of us as to what employers expect from remote workers. And then, of course, we've got Miss Leona, my sister from another mister from Ebony, Ivy, and Time, and myself, Miss Denise, from Homemaking with Denise. And we are the Modern Home Economists.
We are.
And we are just talking about, like I said, how to help women, how to help homemakers find their footing.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's a tough situation. It's a tough situation because, you know, most moms or dads, whichever the case may be, and there are dads who are in the same situation that are dealing with the same thing. So we can't leave them out.
No.
But the reality of it is that it's navigating the people around you who have gotten used to just being able to pick up the phone and talk to you. And but it comes to a point, and I'm even finding that as a content creator, Ms. Denise and I are real good about texting each other, can you talk? You know, and to see whatever the other one is doing at a particular time so that we can respect each other's time, because there's a time when she's working, there's a time when I'm working. And so we try to work our girl talk in another moment. And we do that. We have a good time with that.
Yes,
but,
we do.
you know, the thing of it is that everyone should be able, I think the time blocking is perfect.
Yeah.
And Jill's absolutely right. It's honoring your time, thinking, you know, you're not being selfish.
No.
If that's what you think, that's not the case. That's not what it is. You're saving yourself, because when you're stressed, then you're not going to be your best person for your family. And so if you have been able to work out the day, and certainly, you know, I'm a proponent of planning. I mean, I've got plans from the time I hit that floor until I close my eyes at night. I know what I plan to accomplish. I know in advance what I'm going to cook. And I have everything the night before, the crock pot, whatever it is, it's all out, ready to go. And so, you know, she has certainly given you wonderful advice in saying, you know, plan. That's your prep game. And I like that. I like that term. I'm gonna get my
your prep game and then direct your day. So Jill, I know you have another meeting you have to jump off for. So are there any comments you want to leave with Nina before you have to go?
Well, yeah, I have a few more minutes. I guess I have a question for Miss Nina. Well, what's your barrier for you? What's keeping you from sticking to time blocking or your plans for the day?
Because my schedule changes every month. My work schedule changes every month.
Okay.
And then with the boys, they in so many activities. So if practice get canceled, I have to do so much changing. And it gets to a point where it's like I planned out so much, but every time I plan out everything is last minute changes. So it's like, okay, so I fall off the wagon and I just start back going with the flow. And then when it started getting crazy, I'm like, okay, nope, let me reel it in. I gotta cut the crazy out, and we gotta start back planning. I'm really a semi-planner. That's what I always call myself. Because I know the days the kids have games. So I'm planning what I'm gonna cook dinner the day before, we'll eat leftovers. So I do some planning.
Yeah.
But I want to get down to like that type A person of planning. Like I want to plan everything. And I just struggle with it.
Yeah.
Well, but sometimes you have to plan for the unexpected.
Yeah.
Right. Leaving room, because I mean, when you have kids, I mean, come on now. We have to be flexible because kids are not cookie cutter. Things are going to come up. What kind of support system do you have? Like, do you have like mom friends that you can support or help each other?
No, most of my friends do not have children.
Okay. Well, okay. I guess friends is a strong word. Like on the team that your kids play sports on, are there other moms that because you know, one thing I learned, I was watching an Oprah Winfrey show years ago, and this is before I even had kids. And she talked about the power of a team. And she talked about, you know, she had someone on her panel, and they were talking about when they're at work, they have a team to do things at work, but they don't have a team for people to help them at home. And that's the most important team you have, right? And so the team means having someone help you with carpool. If there's another mom, you guys could, you know, switch off. Or if there's another mom where you guys can switch up, and even with dinners. I mean, she said so many things. I was like, wow, why don't we look at home that way? Because sometimes we can't afford to have people come in and clean, or we can't afford people come in and cook, or pick up the kids, but we can ask for favors. Hey, on this day, can you give Johnny a ride to practice? And tomorrow I'll take him to practice. And I'm just kind of talking out loud. I don't know if that's an option, but thinking about, because right now it sounds like you're doing it all on your own.
Yeah, but and even I don't know if I would be okay with that because I'm so protective of my boys. I don't even know if I can even let that control go, honestly. You know? But I mean, between me and his dad, you know, dad do a lot of practice, and that was like a come to Jesus meeting where I had to say, "Hey, brother,
Good. Put him in the game.
That's right.
I literally told him, "Hey, take me out the game, coach.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need you to do practice. I need you to, you know." And he was like, "Okay, cool."
Good.
All you had to do was ask.
Right.
Yeah.
All I had to do was ask. Right. So he is definitely, you know, my husband will take the boys, you know, to practice and give me time to, okay, so you can do the things that you want to do, Nina. So you're able to have a break and, you know, maybe go hang with some of your girlfriends or cook, clean, you know, the things that I don't do during the day because that we had to understand that as well, that I'm working, so I'm not able to be the housewife that you need during the day. So just talking to him, you know, he was like, okay, cool. And, you know, put him in the game and he does a lot of practice and going to the games and stuff like that as well.
So that's a really good point for your listeners that Nina just made about making sure you engage your spouse or your partner. Because, I mean, if you don't have to do it alone, don't do it alone. Now, some of us have to, but if that's not your thing, don't do it alone. You know, I remember when I first had my daughter, and you know, after you have a baby, your whole life changes. I mean, everything on my body was hurting, leaking, aching. I was like, what is happening to my person? I got up and went to the gym. And I was like, I felt like my head was spinning around on my shoulders. I was like, you're going where? He's like, oh, yeah. Then the next day he got up and he went to the gym. And the next day, and on the fourth day, I don't know, I came outside of my body. I lost it. I'm screaming, I'm crying. I was like, everything is leaking and aching and hurting, and your life has not changed. He had no idea. He was clueless, Nina. He was like, I didn't know. I was like, everything, even my ears hurt, my toes hurt, and your life has not changed. I need your help.
But you're going to the gym.
You went to the gym? What? I didn't know the gym existed. I could even take a shower, and you at the gym. But I just had to tell him. I was like, I need you to go to doctor appointments. I need you to help change diapers. I need you to know what she eats. I need you to know how much, you know, I need you to know these things. So I'm glad that you had the conversation with your husband, because sometimes that's all it is. It's just communication.
Yep.
Jill, that is certainly a good story, because I know it took me years to get to the point of where I would own up to the fact that I wasn't the superwoman and ask for help. And so it took a long time to get to that. And I think part of it was the day. You know, we came up in a day when, you know, women had to hold a certain you know, status, and moms had to be a certain way, and dads were often doing whatever dads did. And it was like, wait a minute. And what really taught me was my daughter. When my daughter came along and she would say, Dad, will you do so and so? Oh yeah. What? He's going to clean your bathroom? What? You know. And so I'm thinking, you mean all of these years I have been sitting here and I haven't said anything? Well, that was the end of that. So that is an excellent point.
I think you're absolutely right. And like that looks like the chat is hopping. So and I'll dive into the chat in just a little bit, but I didn't want to get, you know, into it too much, because I know that, you know, Jill only has so much time to be with us. So I thought I would check the chat later. But we do have Tamika that says she worked from home during COVID. She was more productive at home. She created an office space that worked for her. Thankfully, her children are self-sufficient, so not many distractions.
Very good, Tamika.
That's
Very
wonderful.
good. Well, so I'd like to say something about that. I appreciate her sharing that. I saw it all during COVID, and I had employees who could do what Tamika did and create a space. but I had employees who lived in a house where there was no space.
Mm,
Think about that.
yeah.
It's a blessing if you have another room you can go to. Some people are in the room that they sleep in, that they watch TV in, right? Like I saw it all during COVID.
I'm
And
sure
so I
you did.
realized that everybody's home life is not created equal. So I had to take that into consideration when we started making policy and regulations and rules and stuff. And that was during COVID. Now, you know, you
Yeah,
gotta
it's
come to work
different
4 days
now.
a week.
Mhm.
And now if you don't have that space at home, then you probably find yourself in the office, you know. But I'm glad that she shared that, because creating that space is important. If you're going to work from home, having a carved out location where you can get some work done is important. So thank you for sharing that, Tamika.
Okay.
What else are people saying, Mom? I don't see anything.
Okay. So I think is it the Jolly Tea Drinker, one of our friends, Nina.
Yes.
She's picking up on the point, direct your day. She likes that
I
point.
like that.
I like that. Yeah.
And let's see.
I like Jolly Tea Drinker.
While Miss Denise is looking, oh, I see. Go ahead, Miss Denise. I'll come back in a minute.
So Terry said she worked from home for 10 years and she loved it. And we got a lot of people saying hello, and we'll come and check that out a little bit. But we've got Debbie, who says that she used to make meal plans and she did her grocery list accordingly, and she also clipped coupons. So that was a help for her in her preparation.
Absolutely.
That's really good.
And oh, well, look at here. Our sister is on. She says, great topic to begin the new year. I have learned something that was said. People respect what you consistently enforce.
It's true.
I like that.
true.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
We teach people
How to treat
honor
us.
us.
That's right. That's right.
And then Bettina says that she is very fortunate to work remotely, but balancing everything can be challenging. She said she got to mop the floors for lunch today.
I
Now,
love
I'm
that.
thinking on her lunch hour, she should have been eating lunch and relaxing.
Exactly.
And I want to say something about it. That's the thing I learned. Like I was using my lunch break for a few years to like, oh, let me get dinner started. Let me run to the store to go get this. And then once I finish doing all that, and by the time I go back to work, I'm burnt out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. My lunch break is my lunch break. It's time that I really need to eat, you know, decompress from work and be able to reset for when I go back for the, you know, the second half. I stopped doing chores and household things, mother stuff on my lunch break. Best thing I could have done.
Yeah, I think the beautiful thing about the break, right, is that we get to use it the way that we like to, right?
Right.
Because for Miss Bettina, if mopping her floor, she was gonna have to do it later on in the evening, she might have said, let me just do it during this break, so in the evening I can rest, you know? So lunch breaks are used, I think, the way that we need them, especially when you're home. Now, I think if you need to take a nap, right?
Right.
If you need to run an errand. But I think whatever is going to free you up later, I think it's a personal choice. So thank you for sharing that, Miss Bettina.
Yeah. And then here's Catherine, and she says, so happy she caught us live. Love hearing about the background stories. So yeah. Okay. So Jill, do you have anything else, or do you need to jump off now?
No, I'll just say this before I transition. This has been really nice. Thank you for having me. I love the conversation. I think we as women, you know, we are complex and multidimensional, and we wear many, many, many hats. And I think so that there's no one best way to do anything. I think the most important thing is to always honor what we set up for ourselves, and then other people will do the same.
I like that. I like that.
I do too. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Nina, you got anything to say before Jill jumps off?
No, it was so good. It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
And for those of you, I guess in case I forgot to say this, I do want you to know that Jill Green is my daughter. You guys have heard me talk about her before from time to time. So and she was willing to share some of her time with us. So I appreciate it. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you for having me. And hopefully, Miss Leona, you guys will invite me back one day. It's just, you know,
Absolutely.
I'm such a fan of the show.
We would love it. We'd love it.
All right.
Oh,
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, it was so good to have her here with us.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just talk about a couple more things. One of the things when we were talking about the time blocking, Leona, you were just about to start talking about the planner. And with the
Absolutely.
planner, sometimes you can have the planners with the months and the weeks
Mhm,
and then the days, and then sometimes they have those daily planners that
mhm.
actually have the hours scheduled out. Do you want to talk about that for a little bit?
I do because Nina, I don't know. Do you use a regular planner?
Yes, I'm old school when it comes to that. I have to
Okay.
have a physical planner and a
Okay.
physical calendar. Yes.
Okay, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. And that's a great start. But let me say this, give yourself grace
Mhm.
in your planning, in that it may be that just because of your schedule that you may actually want to have, of course, you have your time at the beginning of the day for you to do what you need to do, but then have time for you to just decompress, maybe at
Mhm.
lunchtime, if it's
Mhm.
music, lunch, whatever that may be, may look like. And then in the evening, now I tended to be an evening cleaner in that, and that was because I was gone most of the day and ripping and running. But
Mhm.
what I would do while the dinner was cooking, then I would try to get a task finished. And so I know, because and that was with little ones, even,
Mhm.
or it may be that while the dinner was cooking, I got somebody in the bathtub. But, it may mean that your your homemaking part may have to schedule a little loosely, in
Mhm.
that you're
Mhm.
not able to say, today I'm gonna get all the floors vacuumed. Well, that might not work for you because you might not have time to do that. So, give yourself some grace and
Yeah.
get as much done as you can. It came to a point of where I became, for a while, the surface cleaner. So you'd walk in a house and you think, wow, the house is really neat. Don't touch anything because it's probably a layer of dust this thick. But the reality, it looked clean, you
Mhm.
know, and but it was enough that I could come in and kind of go, "Phew," and really relax
Mhm.
until I needed to do that deep clean or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And so the main thing that I focused on, especially when the kids were little, was just making sure that the groceries were taken care of. The menu plan was done. I knew what they were going to cook. I tried to prep as much as I could, and that's why I really push it a lot on the channel, because it makes a difference.
Mhm.
And so, if you can, take an hour on Saturday and do, say, if you prep 2 meals, then there's 2 meals ahead that you are.
Yeah.
And so try to do as much of that as you can.
Yeah.
But it's I I know you like a tight schedule, and I am a type A. I can tell you,
Mhm.
I am a type A,
Mhm.
and I had to. I mean, I would get myself to the point of where I was like this because things didn't get done. I
Mhm.
couldn't sleep, and I would get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go mop because it needed to be
Oh.
done. And so, but I had to do it because then I could come back, jump into bed, and I'd actually rest.
Mhm.
But it was in my head that it had to be done. So relax. It
Mhm.
will get done. Nobody's going to pass out because it didn't get done.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to learn.
Mhm.
And sometimes I think at the end of the day, you're not going to wish you had worked more.
That's right.
You're not going to wish you had cleaned more. You're
Hmm.
going to be thinking about those memories and those times that you're making with your family right now. So I was thinking about what Leona said about the meals. And one of the things we've been talking a lot about lately is when you cook something, make it do double duty. Now, Miss Leona calls it part two, I think is how she her videos. And then Cassandra at Becoming a Farm Girl calls it giving it a different flavor profile.
Hmm.
It's like, you make roast chicken on Sunday, and then on Tuesday you might have chicken noodle soup from the leftover chicken, and then on Thursday you might have chicken pot pie. But you have like one hero piece, which might be the chicken. And with a family of 5, you might need to cook 2 chickens. I don't know.
Mhm.
But if you have to cook 2 chickens, then you just go ahead and cook them both on that Sunday, so that you've got those other pieces to do with whatever you need to do during the week. That's just something to consider.
Mhm.
And if anybody that's in the comments, that's on the chat, or if you're watching on the replay, does this sound like the season of life that you're in? Let us know in the chat or in the comments.
I can tell you this week I had put down my menu. I had the menu planned. It was ready to go. I had everything prepped, only to get to church. Now I did it on Friday. I was getting ahead. I get to church on Friday only to find that our corporate fast was supposed to start. So all the meat, all the whatever was in there was like, I can't do any of that. So I had to go back and redline and totally revamp what I had. But the thing of it is that fortunately I hadn't hit send on the groceries. So that was the only thing that saved me.
Okay.
And so, but I had the plan. So I knew, and I had all the groceries in the cart ready to go. So, those are the things that really help, because you do have a plan. It helps you to relax.
Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about that, Leona. You talk about before you hit send, so that meant you were going to order your groceries. I've seen you on video, you and your family at, I think it's Costco or different places doing grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts about ordering your groceries? That might free you up a little bit.
See, I'm a control freak. I can't give that control up. And I talk about this like on my channel when I'm going grocery shopping, because I have this weird thing. I don't even want the first item or something. I want to get the second item or the third item. I need to look at it. I don't know. People just throw stuff around in the store, and I don't know if people, that ham that was sitting over there and the potato chips, that they didn't take it and put it back in the freezer. Now when I get it home, I get sick. I need to look at my stuff, and why my mind go there, I don't know. But
okay, well that's real.
So it's a trust issue.
Yes. So it's like I'm finna go ahead and get my own groceries, because y'all ain't finna pick my groceries up. No, I want my own stuff. COVID, I was going to get my groceries.
Okay.
I get it, but sometimes when I've ordered my groceries, I'm not like the avocados or some of the produce that they pick out. That stuff they tend to do pretty good, but I feel like it's a trade-off. However, if that's not something you can trade off, what do you think she can do that would be helpful?
I had to develop a relationship with my shopper. And typically, I know Kroger's does this. I know our Food Lion does it, and Publix does it as well, in that you'll find out who your shopper is before they start. And so if there's anything you want to tell them, then you can. And Walmart does it as well, in that I can say to them, now listen, when you get my lettuce, I want a real head of lettuce. And I describe to them specifically what I want the lettuce to look like, and how I want my vegetables. And so I know I drive them crazy, but I am very specific in what I want.
Right.
And, but after the first time, it's funny. They've gotten to the point that, especially Walmart, because I use them mostly, I end up kind of with the same shopper. And so it's kind of, I'm sure they're in the background going, oh my God, it's her. Here, you take her, because you know what she wants. And so I have even called them and made them come back and get something. If it hasn't been to my specifications, I called their manager and I said, listen, they sent so-and-so. And he will laugh and he'll say, okay, Miss Dooley, we'll come and get it. They came and got it, and they switched it out. But most of the stores want you to be pleased with what you get. So when you're giving instructions, you have to say to them, please don't take the one at the front. Look at the date. I want the newest date. So go to the back and get the freshest package and bring it out.
Yeah.
And because that's what I would do if I were doing actually doing the shopping. So I started that back in COVID. And so now I'm a little more relaxed with them coming in. For a long time, I wouldn't let them pick, anything that was fresh. But now, because I've developed that relationship, I can do that.
So Lavina says something very helpful is getting the family from kids to spouse to be active in household duties so you don't get burned out. And I
Yeah.
think that's a good idea as well. Now your boys are you said 11 and 8. So they're big enough to help do some things. Do you assign them some chores?
Miss Denise, yes. I tell my boy, and I'm gonna tell you what made me do it. Years ago, and it was always, me and my daughter, teaching my daughter how to do stuff, and the boys would be playing the game, and one day I was like, wait a minute, no, y'all need to learn how to do this stuff too. It's not just gonna be me and your sister doing this stuff. So my boys wash their own clothes.
Really? Well,
Very good.
I can see the 11-year-old could. The 8-year-old can run the washer.
I taught them how to wash clothes. Yes.
Okay, I like it.
I love it.
They wash clothes. They have to vacuum the rooms, take out trash, put that trash up front. If they can push a trash can up front. Yes, I gave them chores. Now bathrooms, I haven't taught them like how to like really get in there and clean bathrooms and stuff. But for the most part, it's some stuff that you're gonna do because I want, and that's what also a lot of my content is about on my page, because I told my boys, I want you to understand that when you get in your household as an adult, it's not just your partner's responsibility to cook and clean and do all these said things. So I teach my boys, no, you need to do this too. It's not just your partner's responsibility to cook so you can have food on the table. So I pride myself in teaching my boys that. And no, you get in here and clean up. Can you go outside? Well, is that room clean?
That's right. That's right.
I agree.
Oh,
And I have to tell you guys, you probably guys will think this is kind of funny, but I remember once I was home. It was some weekend, and my husband was out playing ball. Him and his guy friends, he would open the gym and they would play ball in the gym every Saturday from 8 to 2 o'clock or whatever. And I remember one day he came home, and when you came in our house in the front door, you came right into the family room. Because we didn't have like a separate living room. We had a family room, you had the kitchen, and that kind of thing. The family room was a hot mess. And I don't know what I had been doing. I might have been sewing or something and had stuff everywhere, but whatever. The house was a hot mess. And he came in and he looked around and he said, "What have you been doing all day?" And I said, "The same thing you've been doing. I took the day off." And that let him know then, because I was like, wait, what? He's out playing ball. I'm supposed to use my Saturday to clean all day, but he's, so we had some conversations, like you said, some come to Jesus moments after that. And so that we became more partners in taking care of things. But as Leona pointed out, though, we're both old school. So back in that day, like you look at 1972, 73, 74, it was still pretty much the woman's responsibility to take care of all of that. And we were just beginning to come out from under that masculine thumb like that. So we were just beginning to come out of that. So today, I see that many times it's more of a partnership with the young couples today.
Well, Miss Denise, I can tell you, even with these young couples, these husbands still think it's in the 70s. Because if mine had his way, I would be a cook, a baker, and a candlestick maker. They still think that. They do. And sometimes I had to reel them back in. I be like, hey.
That's right. I think too, it depends on how the fellas are raised. If they have a mom who kind of doted on them, then and let them slide a little bit, and they're used to mom doing everything.
Yeah.
And but I know my son cooks. He cooks as well as I do, and sometimes better. And depending on what it is, he can clean a house. He knows how to do all of that. But he was doing that when he was 8, 9, 10, 11. He had learned. And even at 8, he was able to fix breakfast. And, he could do all of that. And my daughter as well. But it's something that I think is, and I did it really because my logic was we had moved here and we had no family. And so I thought, if something happens to me, they need to be able to take care of themselves. And that's a mindset. You hate to think morbidly, but we got to think realistically. We're here today, but we can be gone tomorrow. And so our children have to be able to survive. And so as we're teaching them all these little chores and allowing them to do it, and you give them, oh, you did such a good job, because you want them to feel good about what they're doing. But certainly they need to know, boys and girls.
I think
Well,
it's
let's
really
back
good.
up to cooking then. So Nina, tell me, how do meals fit into your work from home routine? Because I know you mentioned that a lot of times if the boys are busy with practices and you have to run out, you might just pick something else up. But what kind of things do you try to make if you have to cook?
Well, my boys are very picky eaters, just like me. They got it honestly. So, I mean, we really eat, even though we eat the same thing, it's still hard to figure out what to make, because it's like, well, we just ate this on this said day. So when I do make meals, if I get up, send the kids off to school, I'm up at like 5, some or 6. I put on something in the crock pot. On my crock pot day. So I know, okay, this will last us for 2 days. My boys, one of my boys, I think he's at practice now, so like 9 o'clock. So, he'll, warm up something or make a sandwich, or I would try to pick up fast food. We eat a lot of fast food. And that is something I want to stop, because it's just become a habit. It's so quick to grab, and I can keep on going home, and I need to do baths. So I need to, we need to start the next day, check homework. It's just being quicker to do.
Well, now, are your boys sandwich eaters?
One of them is, and the other one, of course, is not.
Well, little one probably eats anything.
Yeah, I was thinking, I used to do sandwiches, at least enough sandwiches for the week. And I'd wrap them, they stay in the refrigerator, whatever they wanted sandwich wise. And then that way, if they had those days, they could come in, grab a sandwich, and if there was some soup, they could grab a cup of soup or whatever it is that they wanted, and have a meal, and it wasn't all on you. And you might think about on that off day, if you have a crock pot day, then on that off day, put something else in the crock for later down the road that week that you might have. And even if you don't eat it that week, package it in such a way that you can put it in the freezer and bring it out another time. But I would say at least twice a week, you want to run that crock pot. And that would help you have sufficient.
I get lazy behind it. I can be doing real good, and then out of nowhere, it's just the schedule go to and I'm like, what happened?
Let me stop you for a second. Let's redirect that thought. You're not lazy. You're overwhelmed sometimes. Or life gets to lifing and plans change. But it's not about being lazy. It's about being real and trying to take care of things in the moment. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Leona, but I just couldn't let her.
That's true. And you're not lazy. You're tired.
Yes.
And, it took me years to realize how exhausted I was. And because you're constantly pushing. And so, it takes a moment to stop and say, oh, I am exhausted. And you're thinking, okay, I just didn't get it done. And you start to beat up on yourself. But, don't do that. We're saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. As soon as you think about it, stop. Because that's a moment where, you may have to look at hubby and say, honey, I need for you to take the boys Saturday morning for 4 hours. And I just need those 4 hours for me. And if nothing else, you get to sleep in. If you want to stay in your warm
Take a
fuzzies,
30-minute shower.
absolutely. You just get to relax and have some time, whatever it is that you need to do that makes you feel back to being the girl you want to be. And if you did that once a month, to get to do that, the boys are going to be fine.
Yeah.
And so you got to look out for you, because
Yes.
when mom falls apart, the household typically falls apart.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you are where you want to be, physically as well as mentally.
And one thing too that I heard you say a little bit there is you can get into decision fatigue, because you have to constantly try to think, okay, so now what am I going to do about this? What am I going to make for this meal? We got to be here. What do I need to have ready? And you have to make, as a working mom, you're doing double the duty of the moms that don't work outside the home, because all moms work. But if you're working either from home, full-time, part-time, or outside the home, you're doing 2 jobs now, because you're doing a mom job and you're doing whatever other job you're doing. So you can just be overwhelmed with having to make so many decisions.
Yes.
And I think that meal plan that Miss Leona talks about, like she does her monthly meal plan, can be helpful. And maybe even, like you said, you will eat the same things often. Maybe make a 2-week meal plan, and if you just rotate the things, you got them written down in your pencil and paper planner. You already know, okay, so on Monday we're going to have this, Tuesday we're going to have this, Wednesday we're going to have the leftovers from Monday or whatever, so that you don't have to think about it. You can just look at your planner and see it. How does that sound?
That sounds like a really good idea, because I could get like a good weekend, not a weekend, but a week planned. And then next week, I'm like, well, what happened? I guess because it's going so smoothly. And Miss Denise, we talked about this, I overbook myself. And then I don't realize, this time that you had open because you didn't have to cook, I started doing something else, and the days have gotten by and I haven't realized you didn't plan for next week.
Yeah.
So now we're back in the chaos of let me figure out what we're going to eat.
Well, Nina, I can tell you this. I remember for years, my mom had a certain meal for Monday, certain meal for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every day of the week had a certain meal. And that didn't change. I am telling you, it did not change. That's the way it was. You knew when Wednesday came, you didn't even have to think when you were coming home from school, because you knew it was Wednesday, and Wednesday was always so-and-so. Friday was always fish. Sunday was always fried chicken. You knew. And so it was easy to grocery shop. And when I first started as a young cook, that's how I set it up. And so it's you don't even have to think. You've got almost a set grocery list. You can go through, see what you've used, what you haven't used. And, I like to kind of overplan each week, so that if I need an extra meal, then I've got it. But when you know what Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is going to be, then you don't even have to think. You just roll with it and do it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, now Debbie says that when her kids were growing up, she was always on the go. Her downtime was when they were in the bed for the night, because she couldn't do it all. That now that she's older, she's able to do some things a little differently. And that was always my thing too. It was like, once the kids were in the bed, I could relax. So I thought by 9 o'clock, everybody had to be in the bed. Now, when the kids were younger, they went to bed earlier. But when they got older, it's like, look, you need to either be in bed by 9 o'clock or in your room, because I don't want to have to see kids after 9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. We have that rule. Everybody upstairs after 8:30, don't come down here. Ain't nothing for you down here. And Dad set that rule up. After 8:30, ain't none down here for you. Go upstairs.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
I vacuumed. My babies could sleep through vacuuming. So I would put them down for the night. And at 8 o'clock at night, I'm vacuuming the house. And they would sleep right on through. But it got done. You know, it had to be late. I was just getting in from school. So that's what happened.
Mm-hmm. I had a question that I wanted to ask Nina, and it was, you said you like your pencil and paper planner.
Mm-hmm.
So do you feel more relaxed when you get everything out of your head and into the planner?
Yes.
Good.
I don't think everything is out because my brain is constantly going.
Mm-hmm.
But writing stuff down is like I feel accomplished. It's like, oh, okay. It feels like I'm, getting tasks, and even like my to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby, when I complete something and scratch it off the list,
Mm-hmm.
I might add 2 more things to it, but scratching one thing out, it feels so good to me.
Okay.
Okay. Well, and here's the thing too, that it's been proven that when you have everything in your head, it can feel overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're able to get it out and get it on paper, then it just feels more manageable. So if anybody out there can relate to what we're talking about right now, leave us a note in the chat. We'd be interested to know about that.
Mm-hmm. I like that. And, using your time blocking is certainly nice. And it's so nice that there are so many planners that are already set up that way. Now, when you make your plans, you're making them for the week, right? Not just for the day, so that your day doesn't look overwhelmed. Because, typically, I know Ms. Denise and I are kind of proponents of, you have 3 major tasks per day. And then the rest of the day, of course, your work day would come in there. But 3 major tasks would be, for one task, it's just getting up, getting yourself ready. And I know we do a swish and swipe.
Swish and swipe.
Sure the bathroom's clean. And then from there, it may be that you've gone down and you've handled breakfast. That might be task number 2. And number 3 might be something else that you decide that you'd like to do for that day. You may not get to it till the afternoon or whenever, or you may not get to it. But at least you've checked off 2 of the 3. And that makes you feel so much better rather than having 20 tasks on one page that you got to look at. And you're thinking, oh my goodness, I only got 1 done out of all of these. And
that's overwhelming.
It's mentally and visually overwhelming. So try to spread those tasks out across the week so that you're able to really check things off each day.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
When you're blocking out your activities for the kids on your planner, do you put the activities in there for the month and then the week?
Probably. Well, with basketball, with their extracurricular activities, that's 2 months out. That's already planned.
And you already got it blocked out on your planner.
Yeah, so that's already written out. Like these are game days, these are practice. The in between stuff are maybe the stuff that we want to do with the kids. That may be like 2 weeks out. What start getting tricky is when they're canceling practice. Oh, we lost, so we needed 2 more practice this week, and I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I planned to fry chicken today. Well, I can't fry chicken today because now I gotta go. So that's what throws me off. And then when I'm sitting at practice, it's like, okay, well, I had planned to do content, so now I can't do content. So now I gotta throw the 5 things I wanted to do today on tomorrow with the 10 I had already planned. So then that's the overwhelming for me.
Yeah. When you say you have 10 things planned, now Leona, I'm thinking you're planning too much for one day.
Yes. I agree.
So, you should probably, it's recommended that you probably should only have about 3 major things, top 3 things that you have to do for the day. And then when you get those top 3 things accomplished, if there's time left over, then there might be, time for you to do something else. So that's something to think about right there. But I
Also,
was thinking that when you do your planner, if you block out like for 2 months, you've got all those things written out that they have to do every week.
mhm,
Get those on there every month, every week, and then start to put in all your different doctor's appointments or dental appointments and all of that, so
mhm,
that you can see it at a glance. But then also, I think you could use your phone as a modern young woman. You could use your phone, the planner in your phone as well. 'Cause
mhm, mhm,
the phone is always with you. It's
mhm,
always at your fingertips. So your monthly and your weekly things you can have there. So while you're out, if someone should approach you with, well, can you do blah, blah, blah on this date? At your fingertips, you could check your phone and say yes or no in that regard. Um, Rather than, have your big planner in your purse or anything like that. Leon,
mhm.
what say you?
I agree with that too, as well as have a tentative menu. So, like, say for instance, if you had planned to film frying chicken, have a backup plan. That's why do we eat in every day? No, but I plan 7 meals a day, 7 meals per week. And I have those things so that should something have to change and I can bump it, I can bump that, but I can put something else in its place that's going to be easier to do. And so you may have to switch things out,
Yeah.
and whatever you had for that day may have to go today,
Mhm.
and just kind of flip the switch on those. But it just sounds like you got a lot in that planner,
Yeah.
and just
And
even
it goes, it's
Mhm,
not that I plan 10 things, but it's,
mhm,
oh, this was bumped from Monday. So, okay, I'm going to put this on Friday. I maybe do this on
mhm.
Friday.
Okay.
Then, so it's it accumulates. I had all this planned this week, but because
Mhm.
so it
Yeah.
boils up all on this one said day because I'm
Mhm.
planning every minute out, and it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
This is
No, you
Yeah.
can't keep that up.
You can't do
yeah.
that. You can't plan every minute. You got to be a
Mhm.
little looser with the planning to
Yeah.
give yourself some time, some wiggle room.
Yeah.
Everybody needs wiggle room, even with the job. You're going to try to get as much done during the day, but you got to have a little bit of wiggle room because things happen.
Yeah.
And same goes with the house.
Mhm.
There has to be some wiggle room and some way that you can switch it so that you can flip it
Mhm.
and still move right on. And
Yeah.
nobody knows the difference. You can still
Yeah.
smile and say, they didn't know that they were supposed to get fried chicken today because we're going to do that another day. We're going to do
Yeah,
that
but
another
see,
day.
and I have a calendar on the refrigerator, so I write the
Mhm.
meals of what the meal's gonna be.
Aha, aha.
So I
Write
take
it down right
notes.
now.
But let
Right.
them know, this is an idea, a
Yeah.
concept, as he says, a concept of what we're going to look
Yeah.
like for
Because
the
my
week.
boys would be like, I thought we was eating chicken today. Man, I wanted that chicken. I really wanted that chicken, Mom. And I'm like, man.
Well, we're going to have it this week. It just won't be tonight.
And one thing that has helped me, especially like this past few weeks, it was like we were in and out quite a bit. We were going away. And when we came back from Christmas, we got off the plane, came home hungry.
Mm.
And my husband was like, we are not going out to eat. Because, one of our, my daughter-in-law's father picked us all up from the airport, dropped us off at home, and then there were like 6 of us in the car. He dropped us off at home first, dropped Mickey Blue Skies at home second, and then took my son and his wife home next. So if we were going to go out and get something to eat, we were going to have to get the car out the garage and then go do that. My husband's like, we are not going out. And I'm like, okay, so what do I have? Well, I could look in the freezer. I had turkey tetrazzini in there that I had made when I had some turkey leftovers from Thanksgiving. I had a freezer dish of chili in there that I could choose from. And there was one other thing. So I had, cottage pie. So I had 3 different things in there in freezer containers that I could pull out. I said, so do you want this, this, or this? And he picked what he wanted. I was able to get it out of the freezer, put it in the oven, warm it up, put it in the oven until it heated up. And that was what we had for dinner that night. And then it just really turned out helpful. So now, like tonight, I made the lasagna soup tonight for dinner. That makes a huge pot.
It does.
So I'm gonna have to ask you when we later on about now
Okay.
the noodles, if it's gonna absorb all of that broth that's in there, when I freeze it. But you know how noodles can do. I'm gonna put some of that in a freezer container, put it in the freezer, so that next week or the week after, well, I know not next week because our church is starting this Daniel fast next week. So it's gonna be in the freezer for a couple weeks. But when I need something, I can get that out. Now that lasagna soup makes a huge pot, or a crock pot meal makes a huge pot that you might be able to get away with putting a big dish in the freezer so that it's got there for you, so that when you guys are coming home late from a practice, you can say, okay, so tonight I'm going to put that chili out of the freezer and we're going to have that. Or maybe you took the chili out of the freezer before you left for practice so that it's thawed out. So when you get home, you can put it in the microwave and warm it up.
Ready to go.
So that's something that might prove to be helpful, but just keep in mind, this is very normal. So you're not late. It's just that you're doing a lot. As many of today's young parents are, you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
It is. It's a task. It's not a job for the weak.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh,
let's see. Now, one of the things you were talking about, Nina, was that you keep adding things to your list. Now, are these things getting added because people are asking you to do things?
Yep. People ask me to do things. I don't say no a lot. Also, my brain always going. So it's concepts or thoughts of, okay, I need to make a video about this and that and that. Oh, and I could do it on this said day. So Friday, make this video about this. And it's just ongoing and going and going because I'm trying to get it out of my head now. But and when I get those thoughts, but because my brain, like 3 o'clock in the morning, I could be asleep and I'm thinking this, and I would jump up out my sleep and write this down. So it's me constantly adding to a list.
Okay.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was the only one with a notebook.
It's by my night. I have to have it because it's ongoing. So if I don't have a notebook with me, I write in my phone, with this idea and stuff like that.
Well, here's the thing I was thinking about, Nina, is that you might want to have some scripts in your head that you have practiced ahead of time. So when people say, Nina, can you do thus and such? You can say something like, that won't work for me right now. Let me hear you say it. Let me hear you say it. That won't work for me right now.
That won't work for me right now.
That's for anybody, family. That's not gonna work for me right now.
Yeah.
Now do it like Miss Leona did.
You just give
Let
them.
me hear you.
I'm sorry, that's not gonna work for me right now.
It's not gonna work for me right now.
Not right now.
Or because we were thinking about this before we got on, and so here's another one: is I'm not able to commit to that.
I used that one today.
But you know what I will say? I never tell people no. If it's always something and I'm in the moment I don't know, it's text it to me and I'll be able to, think about it. And then when I go back and look at those messages, I still make the time to do it for said person.
So again, I'm not able to commit to that right now.
Yeah.
Or I need to pass this.
Oh
time.
yeah. Oh yeah.
I feel bad saying that.
I know, but
saying that.
But after you practice it, you won't.
As women, we have been socialized to say yes and to help other people. We've been socialized to be that way, but you have to protect your peace. You have to protect the white space on your calendar, and the white space on your calendar is the time that you don't have anything booked. It's the time that allows life to happen and things with the boys to kind of spill over. And even though your daughter is a young adult and on her own, every now and then it might be, Mom, can we go to lunch today? I need to chat with you about something. And you've got some white space on your calendar that you can do that. So protect that time, the white space, by, you know what, that sounds good, but I can't commit to that right now.
I can do it. And you know, we can tell you this because we're kind of on the back end of where you are, in that if you as you continue to say yes, 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 it really does cause a lot of stress that you don't see. And down the road, and I am a witness, it will cause illnesses that you never thought you'd have to deal with. But it was because of the stress that you had that was early on. When you know, I'm like you, I feel bad to say no. And but I have learned, and I'll say, girl, you know, I'm over 60, so that's my line. You know, I'm over 60, so I'm sorry. You better find somebody under 60 to do that.
Well,
And
you can say, because she's not over 60.
that's right.
But what you can
Laugh
say, Nina,
and smile and pat them on the arm. Honey, I'm sorry. I'm over 60. I can't do that.
or I'd love to help, but I don't have the
I
capacity
can't
for that
do
right
it.
now.
You know, and are you say, I am a wife of four boys and 4 children and a husband. I don't have any more space. I'm doing all I can do. And people should respect that. And if they don't, then
No is a complete sentence.
that's right. No is no. I'm sorry.
And you don't have to give a reason why.
And you know, you will find that it comes easier as you do it. And it only takes about 3 or 4 times to do it. That's the truth. That's the truth. I can tell you from a lifetime of saying yes and getting overbooked. A couple of times of saying no, it comes out real easy. Nope, sorry, can't do it.
And you know, actually, I think that you've made this very clear as we've all talked, and even the things that Jill shared with us as well, is that managing a household is more than just cooking and cleaning. It's also about managing the time, not just the time for the things that goes to the running of the household, but the time that we need to care for ourselves so that we have a full cup from which to pour.
That's true. That's true. And, you know, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to your hubby because, you know, when you're overwhelmed and stressed, you know, he's going to feel that overwhelm and the stress. So you want to be able to manage that as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, the goal is not to do more, but the goal is to prioritize about what needs to be done. What's most important? What's the most important thing that needs to be done? So
that's true. That's true. I love it.
I love it too.
So Nina, what else you got for us? You got any other questions for us? Let me see what's in the chat. So Soft Pages Studios jumping off, but hopes everyone has a blessed evening.
Do you see Tutu's talking about at 9:07? She's talking about overcommitting.
9:07.
And that's me.
And she's got a real good point.
Yes. Overcommitting may result in disappointing your boss or clients or friends when you can't get it done on time. Yeah. And yourself, because if you've committed to that and then you don't get it done, then you beat up on yourself because you weren't able to do that. And then there's Jolly Tea Drinker. I've been told that no is a complete sentence. So yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And it's one I practice.
But that's one of the things that's on my things I plan on working on is over committing myself and you know, because I understand it's like I cannot do it all, even though I try to do it all. And I feel bad if I commit to something and can't, you know, carry it out for someone else. But I don't feel that same when I put some time to myself and don't do what I want to do for myself. I don't feel bad about that.
Right.
But I feel bad about other stuff. And it's like I have to prioritize myself as well, because I'm the friend that I don't let anyone down. I am the strong friend, the dependable, and everyone can count on, because Nina gonna get it done. Nina gonna come through for me.
And they know that.
They know that.
So
They
like
know
Jill said, honor the commitments to yourself,
Yes.
just like you would honor the commitments to others.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've got to be able to step in for you.
Yeah.
Leona, do we have anything else? Have we covered all the things we wanted to cover?
You know, we have certainly covered a lot of material. And I think some of the things that have been critical is with the time blocking. Time blocking is fantastic, but don't overbook.
Yes.
That's the big thing, not to overbook and to spread things out, you know, especially things that are non-work related. You know, you can't really control your workload, but you can control what goes on around it. And I'm saying, you know, put some time in there for you.
Yes.
Because you've got to be able to do that in order to be the best mom and the best wife that you want to be. And I know you do. And learn to say no.
Yeah.
Practice it. Even if you have to stand in front of the mirror and look and you do it sweetly, because I know you're a Southern girl. And you put a little sugar on it. No. No, honey. Put that in.
She's a Southern girl too.
Yeah.
But you want to, and two, you know, writing things down is critical. And sometimes as a fellow type A, we have to write it down, but that doesn't mean we have to get it all done. You know, I learned that. So, you know, we're putting it down so that we can come back to it and take a look at it. But, you know, you have a wonderful family.
Yeah.
And you are doing such a good job.
Yes, you are.
You know, keep that in mind and tell yourself that I am doing a good job. And even on those days when it looks ugly, you have to be able to stand and say, you know, might have been a little ugly today, but I've done a good job today. And everybody's in the bed, everybody's been fed, and everybody made it to school and to work. Whew! Honey, I accomplished the task.
That's saying a lot right there. So take that S off your chest. We do not have to be superwoman.
So
we want to be authentic. We want to be real. And think about building those systems that support how you live. So some of those could be freezer meals that you can pull out on the late nights when you have practices. Maybe you might want to build into your routine one meal out, or, you know, like 1 meal out a week where you know life's going to get busy. So there's going to be at least one night a week we're going to grab something out to bring home or whatever, or another crock pot meal. So be thinking about those things. So let me just ask the chat, what systems are you trying this year? You're working on time blocking because time is something that you're struggling with. So what kind of systems are people working with out there in the chat? I would really like to know. I know for myself, I'm trying to get more consistent with my planner. I'll get started in January and I'll be doing real good till like April. And then all of a sudden I kind of fall off. So this year I want to make sure that I'm consistent all year long.
Yeah.
I'm a consistent planner. Just and my problem is that I get so caught up in mine. I like decorating, and so but I get everything done. But I like to decorate, and but when it comes to running your kitchen and having your food ready, it is amazing what planning will do, and prepping in advance helps tremendously. It does. It really
What
does.
the pre-day, prep day is what Jill
Mhm.
called it, the prep day.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, so think
Sure.
about that. And when we're off, think about how you can implement that into your life. If that
Mhm.
sounds like something that can be helpful, then it's going to be a matter of, okay, so how can I make this work for me? Because it may look different for everyone. So
Mhm.
how can I make this work for me? And Leona, I'm so glad that you pointed out that she is doing a good job.
She is.
She is a good mom and a good wife.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Because if you weren't a good one, you wouldn't be worrying about all this other stuff.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. You wouldn't be overwhelmed. You,
Yeah.
you wouldn't care.
Yeah,
But,
you
you
wouldn't
know,
care.
that's right. So,
Right.
the reality of it is that you do care and you do care about your family and you want
Yeah.
the best for them. But at the same time, you should also want the best for you.
Yes.
So I suggest, because we want to be able, now we may not be here when you get to being together for 50 years. We probably won't. But
Probably
you just
won't.
think of Miss Denise and Miss Leona and the fact that we said, you will look back on this and you want to be able to think about your kids when they were little and
Mhm.
smile and think about all the rushing around that you had to do because we do now.
Mhm.
And I think I was crazy at that point, but I'm so glad I'm so glad I did it. I'm
Yeah.
so glad I did it. So that's what we're saying to you. Enjoy the moment
Enjoy the moment.
because it's important.
And it's fleeting.
That's right. It
Yeah.
goes by very quickly.
Yeah.
So let me just say to everyone then, before we go, I want to invite everyone to watch me and Miss Leona's last live stream a couple of weeks ago, where we talked about 7 practical ways to become a modern home economist. And then we had our first guest on the show. We had TJ on, where she was where you got the opportunity to look at a real life, stay-at-home mom of 4. She also had a set of twins, but she
Yeah.
was a stay-at-home mom. She used to work, and then when she had the twins, she ended up home with the 4 children, what life was like for her. And we'll have those linked in the description box below. And then let us know, what system are you trying to work on now? Nina's working on time. I'm trying to work on planning. Leona, what are you working on?
I am working on getting those. I'm really working on food and organization. If I could turn you all around right now to my kitchen, you would go because I took everything out of my pantry, and it's going, when it's finished, you won't even know it. It's going to be so good. But
Okay.
when you start those kind of projects, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, it is a force to be reckoned with.
Yes,
I
it
got
is.
myself into something. So
Mhm.
just think about that. I am working on the organizing and trying to make sure that things flow more smoothly. And I'm continuing to work on no,
Yes.
because I still struggle with that.
Mhm.
And especially when it comes to church or friends or whatever. So but they're learning, and so
I'm 60. I'm over 60. I ain't got time for that.
I don't got time for that, girl. I
Well,
got
Leona,
other
I want
things
to
to
thank you so
do.
much for joining us tonight. And for those of you out there on the chat, thank you for jumping in tonight and for sharing your comments and thoughts with us. Sorry I couldn't get to all of them, because I wanted to make sure that we allowed for Nina and for our guest Jill to be able to share some of their thoughts with you guys as well. So thank you for all of that. And we are going to see you
Same time, same
same
station.
time, same station next week. Miss Leona will be the lead, and we will continue to talk about different ideas associated with managing your home. So,
Mhm.
Nina, you stay right there, and we're going to say goodbye to the rest of you guys, and we will see
Bye,
you.
everyone. We're glad to have you with us tonight.
And Happy New Year!
Woohoo!